What's up, everybody? Nick Dwyer back here for the 10th inning with another episode of This Day in Sports History. In yesterday's episode, we saw Austin Matthews score 4 goals in his NHL debut. We don't have anything quite like that today, but we do have some golf to talk about, we have some Olympic games to get into, and we have some more MLB playoff action to talk about. So if y'all enjoy this video, leave a like on it. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Let's get to it. This Day in Sports History. And we will start off today in 1893 in the 9th running of America's Cup. Vigilant of the US would defeat Valkyrie II of the United Kingdom. 10 years later in 1903, we have the inaugural World Series as the Boston Americans would defeat the Pittsburgh Pirates in Game 8 3-0 to win the series 5-3 and claim their first of 9 championships. Stay in the World Series, go to 1914. The Boston Braves would complete the first sweep in World Series history, defeating the Philadelphia Athletics 3-1 in Game 4 to win their first of 3 titles. 1 year later, remaining in the World Series, 1915, this time the Boston Red Sox would defeat the Philadelphia Phillies 5-4 in Game 5 of the World Series to win the series 4-1, win their third of 9 World Series. Stay in the World Series 6 years later in 1921, and in an all-New York series, the Giants would defeat the Yankees 1-0 in the 8th game of the series to win 5-3, win their second of 8 titles. Take a quick break off of Major League Baseball, move to 1934 at the LPGA Western Open, and amateur Marion McDougal would defeat Mrs. Guy Regal 9-7 to win her only major. Back to the MLB now in 1960, in Game 7 of the World Series, Bill Mazeroski would hit a walk-off home run in the bottom of the 9th inning to give the Pirates a 10-9 victory over the Yankees in Game 7, win the World Series 4-3 to claim their third of 5 World Series. And that remains till this day the only walk-off home run in Game 7 of the World Series. Back to golf now in 1963, and we will start at the LPGA Championship, and Mickey Wright at 10 over would win her 4th LPGA title, 2 strokes ahead of runners-up Mary Mills, Louise Suggs, and Mary Lena Falk, and this would be her 11th of 13 majors. Also in 1963 in golf, but in team golf at the Ryder Cup, the USA would defeat Great Britain 23-9, and this would be their 12th of 26 victories in the Ryder Cup. Now we move to the Olympics in 1964, and we would go in swimming. Start off in the women's 100 meter freestyle, and Australian Dawn Fraser would win in an Olympic record time 59.05 seconds. Then in the men's 200 meter backstroke, the USA would sweep the medals, with Jed Grave winning the gold medal in a world record time 2 minutes 10.3 seconds, one that would be held for 3 years. Then teammates Gary Dilley winning silver and Bob Bennett winning bronze. 3 years later, we move to the world of basketball, and in 1967 we have 2 events. The Seattle Supersonics would play their first game in the NBA, lose their game 144-116 to the San Francisco Warriors. Then in the ABA, the first ABA game would be played with the Oakland Oaks defeating the Anaheim Amigos 132-129. And this would be when the red, white, and blue ball would be introduced as well as the 3-point line. But back to the NBA in 1970, 2 future Hall of Famers would debut. Guard Calvin Murphy as the San Diego Rockets would lose 111-96 in Chicago, and forward Dave Cowens for the Boston Celtics in a 114-107 loss in New York. 12 years later in 1982, the IOC Executive Committee would approve the reinstatement of Jim Thorpe's gold medals from the 1912 Olympics. Move up now to 1996 and go over to F1. Damon Hill would win the Japanese Grand Prix, becoming the first son of an F1 World Drivers' Championship, Graham Hill, to win the title himself. This would be his only victory. 4 years later, go to basketball in 2000, and Isaiah Thomas, Bob McAdoo, and the 24-second shot clock innovator Danny Biasone would all be enshrined into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. Back to Major League Baseball now in 2001, and the Yankees, being down 2-0 in the best-of-5 series, would defeat the Athletics 1-0 thanks to a shutout by Mike Mussina and Mariano Rivera, a Jorge Posada 5th inning home run, but also one of the greatest plays you'll ever see from a shortstop, the flip, when Derek Jeter backed up a throw that missed the cutoff man, and he was able to flip it to Posada to tag the running Jeremy Giambi, who foolishly didn't slide. But we go back to F1 in 2002, and Michael Schumacher would win the Japanese F1 Grand Prix for his record 11th victory of the year and claim his third straight World Drivers' Championship and his fifth of 7 overall. And we will end today's video off in 2019 with 2 separate events. We will start off with Simone Biles, and she would become the most decorated gymnast in history when she would win her record 25th medal at the World Championships in Germany. Finally, in the women's marathon, Brigid Kosgei of Kenya would set a new world record of 2 hours, 14 minutes, 4 seconds. And this is still the current record. So there you go. That's what happened on this day in sports history. If I left anything out, I do apologize. If I mispronounced any names, I also apologize. But I'll see everybody tomorrow for Nico Dwyer and the 10th inning.